I have found an extremely profitable trading strategy that I've been using, and I want to share with you guys. This strategy is using the stochastics RSI. So in this video, I'll go through what is the stochastics RSI and how can we use it in this strategy. So here we are on Bitcoin, which has had quite a huge run in these few months. So it's always good to see that now we're recovering the 35K. And I chose it because it's quite useful to have a big trendy market like that to show an indicator. So we have our RSI down there, and it's not just the RSI, it's the stochastic RSI. As always, you can find it in your indicators. Just type stochastic and you will find it. It's one of the built-in indicators. So it doesn't appear in here as the normal indicators. It just shows on the bottom of your screen. And the stochastic RSI is an improved version of the RSI. It's a mathematical formula that takes the minimum and maximum values of the RSI. So it's kind of making an average of it to smooth out a little bit. And in that way, it works much more like an oscillator than the RSI. That being said, there's still two zones in the stochastic RSI that are important and that we want to pay attention to. The first one is this zone that's here above 80 mark, and that's the overbought. We have then the oversold area at the other side. Everything in the middle is called the neutral zone, so it's just means that the market is pretty much doing efficient things. And whenever it reaches the extreme zones on the bottom or on the top, it means that the market is probably in a bit of an excess. But as you can see from the chart, it's not always a good sign, because if you just trade based off that, it will probably not reverse right away. And as you can see here, for example, the trend is continuing to go higher while we're already in the overbought area. So that's always the same thing with these type of oscillators. You want to see more the momentum of the market and see which direction it's going, whether you should buy or not. So to spot a reversal, we can then also see the crossover in the RSI, and well, it can mean some consolidation, or usually when there's a big movement coming, then the movement starts from very low, like here, for example. We have a crossover that's in the overbought area, and it starts to really go all the way up. But as you can see, this is just a small movement on the 15-minute time frame. So it's still, this could be a great signal, and we could potentially do an analysis. Actually, now let's move on to the actual strategy. So you want to go to the first higher time frame, which is the 1 hour. And what I want you to find is basically a zone like this where there's consolidation happening. You could also use that one. And what I mean by consolidation, as always, is a sideways market where the price is not really making higher high or higher lows. If you have any problems with these concepts, I have a video on market structure and the trends, so feel free to check that out. But this is basically a sideways market. And we want to find those big areas like that because that's where the price is happening to have a lot of action. And that means that a lot of people bought or sold in that area. Now, once you see this, I want you to go down on the 15-minute time frame. So you want to see what is the price doing in those areas, and especially you want to pay close attention to what is happening when the price is breaking from that area. And the thing is, as you can see on the RSI of the same time frame that you're using, it's not very clear. You can't really tell what is happening. So that is why I recommend that you go into the settings here, and on the time frame you can select, by default it's a chart. So that means that the time frame of the RSI will be exactly the chart that you're using. So in this case, it's the 15 minutes. But we want to try the 1 hour, for example. And what you can see is that it will smooth out quite a bit the signals you get. And if you want to be even more safe, you can actually even go to the 4 hours, like 2 time frames before. And that will what that will do is that it will really, really show the signals that are very slow. And actually, it's not working so well in this case. So let's go back to the 2 hours. So yeah, you can change to the 2 hours, for example, to have even smoother signals. And what we can see here is that we have a crossover of the RSI. And then when it's in the overbought area, we have this huge candle. And what that means is that probably the market is a bit oversold now and it will retrace for a bit. But as this is from a much higher time frame, it also means that there's a lot of momentum happening in the market. And if we check, because this is a really long consolidation area, that means that the price has just broken through this. And with this crossover, we could be confident to enter on the pullback. So we just wait. Maybe we don't enter right under here because this is a little bit aggressive entry. I would probably wait for another confirmation. So in that case, we would wait for that bullish candle to show. And that's when we could enter right around here. And the technique is to basically target the last low of the range. We don't need to go all the way down there because then our risk to reward wouldn't be so interesting. And what I like to do with crypto is basically first target 2 for 1 risk to reward and just take some of the profit off the table, maybe 25%, maybe half of the profit, depending how you like it. And after that, just let the rest run. So once we reach it, and of course, because it's crypto, it's very quick to reach, you just take some profit and move your stop loss to break even like this. So that way it's a completely risk-free trade. And when that happens, we just see, okay, the RSI, the stochastics RSI is crossing over here and having a little bit of a slowdown, but we're still in the overbought area. It means that there is just a little bit of consolidation happening before we will go back with the big trend. And as you can see, that's what happens. There's still some more upside. And what an upside here. We have 6 risk to reward, but of course it's quite quick, so you might not catch all that. Still, it's pretty decent. And then we can see around here, there would be maybe a way to know this is a crossover and we're entering the neutral zone. So it's probably a good time to get out of this trade because we have like a 3R and that's probably going to consolidate and not really lead anywhere. So now we can draw our other consolidation zone. We close this trade and we look for the new trend to happen. Here we have a small breakdown, but because as we can see on the 1 hour, we are basically in an uptrend now. We have higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. So we're going to look for longs. That's one very important thing, always trend with the trend. And we are here, yes, in this consolidation zone. And when you see there's the first little wick here that's not really counting, you have to wait for the candle to close. And potentially we could enter on this one because as you can see, we close outside of this box. So I would probably put the stop loss somewhere around here to be safe. You could be even more aggressive and put it right under here. In this case, it would work, but I still prefer to be a bit more loose because crypto is very volatile in both ways. So it could easily just come down, wick you out, and then go and skyrocket. So that's one important thing to do, not to be too greedy, just, okay, leave a bit more space to error. And we can target a 2 risk to reward as usual. And then from there, just leave it run as much as we can. And here it's kind of doing its thing for a few hours, but after a while we can see that it starts going way up. And potentially, if we would hold this, we would get a really, really nice risk to reward. So let me just see, how much would that be? Yeah, that would be 12 risk to reward. Of course, this doesn't happen all the time. But the idea is that you can also check the RSI to see when is the price just going down and consolidating. And then here we have another crossover. And as you can see, it would be a perfect time to buy here, where the price is just going to confirm with that little candle. We can see here there's one bearish candle, and right away it goes up again. So that would be a new signal. That paired with the RSI is already a very nice indication. So that's how you use the RSI. The most important thing to remember is that the RSI is very nice when you're using other time frames. So that's kind of to get smoother signals. I think that's it for the video. Feel free to use this strategy. And as always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll make sure to answer, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.